Hey everyone, and welcome in. Today we're diving deep into proactive mental health strategies,
Oh, nice.
especially for those of you out there working in high-risk industries.
Absolutely. A very timely topic.
We're going to unpack some incredible insights from Cheryl Blair.
Oh, I've heard great things about her work.
She's got 20 years of experience in hard rock mining under her belt
Wow, that's a serious background.
before founding Above the Horizon
Yeah, they
Wellness.
do some amazing work.
And what really struck me about Cheryl's approach
What's that?
is that she's not just about putting out fires, damage
Yeah,
control.
right.
She's all about building that resilience,
Love that, being proactive.
helping folks thrive, even in demanding jobs.
It is such a refreshing perspective.
Totally.
We often get stuck in that reactive mode, just dealing with crises as they pop up.
It's so common, unfortunately.
But Cheryl really flips the script.
100%.
It's about getting ahead of the curve,
So impressive.
building that solid foundation. For sure. So before we dig into her specific tools,
Let's do it.
I think it's helpful to paint a picture of what these jobs actually entail.
Okay.
I mean, we both know they're tough, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Physically demanding, long hours,
Demanding is an understatement sometimes.
hazardous conditions. It's a recipe for stress.
And it's not just the physical stuff either, right?
Good point.
You've got the isolation, the shift work, messing with sleep
Oh,
schedules,
that's huge.
and that constant pressure to meet deadlines, keep production up.
All of that adds up.
It really does, and it puts folks at a much higher risk for anxiety.
Depression, burnout, you name it.
And that's exactly what Cheryl's dedicated her career to tackling.
Yeah, she's so passionate about it.
She really believes in catching these things early,
Makes sense.
which is, when you think about it, it's so obvious,
Really.
but we often don't do it.
So true. So I'm curious, why does she think that's so important, this early intervention piece?
Well, think of it this way. Imagine a tiny little crack in a bridge.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
You ignore that small crack, what happens? Eventually, that bridge is going down.
Catastrophic. Yeah.
Exactly. Same with our mental health.
Wow, I like that.
Those little cracks, if we don't address them,
They become major problems.
for the individual and the whole work environment.
It's like a ripple effect.
Totally. So early intervention, it's like preventative maintenance.
That's a great way to put it. I love that.
Keep those bridges strong,
Okay, so let's get to the good stuff.
Yes,
The practical tools, what does Cheryl actually recommend?
She's got a whole toolkit, but one of the first things she talks about
Okay.
is mental health awareness training.
I've heard of this, yeah.
It's like imagine first aid, but for mental health.
Interesting.
The idea is to give everyone in the workplace
From the top down.
the skills to spot those warning signs.
In themselves and in their coworkers.
Exactly. It's about creating that shared understanding.
So it's about giving everyone a basic understanding of mental health.
Exactly.
Really, I like that.
Knowing the signs of anxiety, depression.
Yeah, and how to have those tough conversations.
Right. And building a culture where people feel safe asking for help.
That's huge. And I know Cheryl mentioned Working Mind specifically.
Working Mind, yes. Such a great program.
Have you come across it?
I have. And it's a fantastic example of how effective this kind of training can be.
Tell me more.
So it's not just about recognizing the signs.
Right.
It gives you practical strategies for managing that stress.
Oh, awesome.
And it really emphasizes creating that psychologically safe environment.
So important.
And one of the things I love about programs like this,
What's that?
they go beyond just focusing on the individual.
Oh, interesting.
It's about building that collective understanding.
It takes a village kind of thing.
Exactly. That it's okay to not be okay.
I love that message.
We all struggle sometimes. It's normal.
It's so human.
And that's okay.
Absolutely. So mental health awareness is like the foundation.
It really is.
What's the next layer in Cheryl's toolkit? What comes after that?
Well, once you've got that awareness in place,
Uh-huh.
it makes early intervention so much easier.
Right.
Cheryl suggests weaving in regular mental health check-ins
Okay, I like this.
as part of your normal routine at work.
Okay, but what does that look like practically?
It can be super simple, like take a few minutes during a team meeting,
Okay.
or you're having a one-on-one with a colleague,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you genuinely ask, how are you doing?
But I feel like people just say fine automatically.
Right, so it's about going deeper than that surface level,
Okay, I see.
creating a space where people feel comfortable sharing what's really going on.
So it's not just about asking the question, it's about building that trust, that rapport.
You got it. And doing it consistently.
Yeah. Making it a regular thing.
Those regular check-ins, They help normalize these conversations.
It's not this taboo topic anymore.
Exactly, and it sends a clear message
That the company cares.
that employee well-being is a top priority.
Not something you only address when there's a crisis.
Exactly. It's about being proactive, not reactive.
And I imagine this helps break down the stigma around mental health,
Oh, absolutely, especially in tough male-dominated fields like mining.
where it's often seen as a sign of weakness to admit you're struggling.
It's so ingrained in that culture, unfortunately.
It is, but the more we talk openly about these things,
The less power that stigma has.
the easier it becomes to reach out for help.
Exactly. It's about creating that supportive environment.
Okay, so we've got mental health awareness training,
Check.
regular check-ins.
Yeah.
What else does Cheryl recommend?
Well, she's a big advocate for stress management techniques.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
And there's one she highlighted in her overview that I really love.
Tell me about it.
It's called the 5-5-7 breathing technique.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Super simple.
You breathe in for a count of 5
Hold for 5.
and exhale for 7.
That's it.
Sounds pretty easy.
It is, and that's the beauty of it.
You can do it anywhere, anytime.
Even in the middle of a stressful meeting.
We're operating heavy machinery, I imagine.
Exactly. And don't let the simplicity fool you.
Oh, I know. There's real science behind it, right?
There is. Research shows that deep, controlled breathing
It can actually calm your nervous system,
lower your heart rate.
reduce those feelings of anxiety.
It's like a little mini meditation you can do on the go.
I love that. A pocket-sized tool for well-being.
And it's something anyone can benefit from.
Whether you're in a high-stress job or just dealing with everyday life.
Exactly. We all need a little bit of that sometimes.
So true. Okay, so we've got training, check-ins, stress management.
What else is in Cheryl's toolkit for creating a mentally healthy workplace?
Let's see, what else is in there?
This next one often gets overlooked,
Okay.
but it's so crucial, especially in these demanding jobs.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's promoting self-care.
Self-care, I feel like that gets a bad rap sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
People think it's selfish or indulgent,
Like it's some kind of luxury.
but Cheryl clearly sees it differently.
And rightfully so.
Tell me about it.
You can't pour from an empty cup. Right.
Sure.
If you're not taking care of yourself,
Physically, mentally, emotionally,
you're not going to show up fully for your work.
or for the people you care about.
Exactly. Cheryl's not talking about spa days here.
Right, right.
She's talking about practical strategies that help people recharge.
And build that resilience.
I remember she mentioned something about self-care checklists.
Yeah, what are those all about?
So think of it like a menu of options.
Okay, I like that.
Some folks find exercise helps them de-stress.
Others need some quiet time in nature.
Some people love getting lost in a hobby.
Right, right.
Self-care checklist, it just lays out all these different activities.
So you can find what works for you.
Exactly. It's about giving people the space to experiment.
Empowering individuals to take ownership of their well-being.
And, we can't forget the role employers play in all of this.
Oh, for sure. They set the tone for the whole workplace culture.
If the leaders are prioritizing their own well-being,
And modeling healthy self-care practices.
it makes it so much easier for everyone else to do the same.
It's about leading by example.
Absolutely. And it's not just about talking the talk.
It's about walking the walk.
Are employees encouraged to take breaks?
Are there policies that promote work-life balance?
Does the company celebrate success without glorifying overwork and burnout?
All really important questions.
It's about creating a system that supports self-care.
Not just telling people, go take care of yourself.
Right. It needs to be baked into the culture,
Love that analogy.
making it clear that taking care of yourself, it's not a luxury.
It's a necessity.
Essential for doing your best work, for being your best self.
Okay, I'm really resonating with all of this.
Me too. It's powerful stuff.
What else does Cheryl highlight when it comes to creating that mentally healthy workplace?
This one's a biggie.
Hit me with it.
Creating a supportive work environment
That feels safe.
where people feel heard, respected.
Okay, paint me a picture. What does that look like in practice?
It starts with open communication,
People need to feel comfortable speaking up.
without fear of judgment or getting in trouble.
That's so key.
And it's about having resources available.
For folks who are struggling.
One resource we hear a lot about is EAPs.
EAPs, yeah, Employee Assistance Programs.
Those are fantastic
They provide confidential counseling, support services.
for a whole range of issues,
Including mental health challenges.
like a safety net.
Exactly, but I've heard there's still a stigma
Oh yeah, especially in those tough-it-out industries.
where you just gotta suck it up and keep going.
It's really unfortunate because seeking help, it's not a weakness.
It takes
It
courage,
shows you're taking control of your well-being.
and that's a good thing.
It's a sign of strength, not weakness.
So it's about normalizing help-seeking behavior.
Making it just as acceptable as going to the doctor for a physical injury.
Because in reality, mental health is just as important as physical health.
Couldn't agree more. And that brings us to Cheryl's last point,
Okay.
which I think ties everything together.
Let's hear it.
The importance of regular education and awareness campaigns.
So this isn't just a one-time training and you're done.
Nope, mental health needs to be a constant conversation,
Just like safety protocols?
or any other critical aspect of the workplace.
Okay, I like that.
Think regular workshops, awareness campaigns, even posters, newsletters,
Anything that keeps mental health top of mind.
and reminds folks of the resources available.
It's about repetition, right?
Yeah.
Normalizing the conversation.
Exactly. So mental health becomes just part of the fabric of the workplace.
It's just how we do things around here.
And the more we talk about it,
The less stigma there will be.
the more likely people are to seek help when they need it.
And that brings us back to Cheryl's big message.
That proactive approach is key
Moving away from that reactive crisis management.
to a culture where we're all prioritizing well-being and resilience from day one.
I love that. And she had one more concept.
Oh.
That I thought was super interesting.
I know what you're talking about.
It's work ready, mind ready.
I was so intrigued by that.
Can you tell us more?
So work ready, mind ready. It's about equipping folks
Especially those new to high-risk industries.
or those transitioning roles
Right.
with the mental and emotional tools.
They need to handle the demands of these jobs. So it's not just about the technical skills, it's about being mentally and emotionally prepared.
You got it. It's like building resilience from the ground up,
So having those coping mechanisms,
knowing how to set boundaries.
understanding the importance of self-care,
It's essential for surviving in high-risk industries.
but I'd argue it's crucial for any career path, right?
Absolutely. Even if you're not in a physically demanding job,
Managing stress, communicating effectively,
building strong relationships, those are transferable skills,
they'll take you far in any field.
for sure.
Wow, we've covered so much ground.
It's amazing how much Cheryl has packed into her overview.
It's truly a roadmap for building a more mentally healthy workplace.
It is, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg.
There's so much more to explore when it comes to putting these strategies into action.
And creating a workplace where everyone can truly thrive.
Couldn't agree more. We'll be back after a quick break to dive even deeper into specific strategies for building a more supportive and mentally healthy workplace.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about this shift, right? Moving away from just reacting to mental health crises.
And being more proactive.
Exactly. Being proactive, especially those demanding fields like mining, it's so important.
And it's more than just being nice, right? It's good for the individuals.
And good for the organization.
There are real, tangible benefits for everybody involved.
You got to think about it from a business perspective. When employees are struggling, it impacts everything.
Yeah, it's a ripple effect.
Productivity takes a hit,
Uh-huh.
safety can be compromised, morale plummets, and even the company's reputation can suffer.
Wow, so you're saying like untreated mental health issues.
They can actually hurt the bottom line.
That's interesting.
It's true. You think about absenteeism,
People calling out sick.
presenteeism, which is where someone's physically at work, but they're not mentally there.
They're just going through the motions.
Exactly. And even an increase in accidents.
Oh, wow.
These all have very real costs associated with them.
So it's not just a feel-good initiative.
No, not all.
These proactive mental health strategies.
It's a smart investment
I like that. An investment in your people.
in their well-being and ultimately in the success of the organization,
It's about creating that work environment where people feel supported.
where they can do their best work.
So I'm sure some folks listening are thinking,
Yeah, how do we actually do this?
that's my question. Where do we even start?
Okay, so first and foremost,
Okay.
it's got to be leadership commitment.
Yeah, it makes sense.
If mental health is just a box to tick on a checklist,
It's not going to fly.
it's not going to be effective. No, leaders need to genuinely prioritize it.
Walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Model those healthy behaviors themselves,
Yeah, lead by example,
and really foster a culture
where it's safe to talk about mental health.
where it's not seen as a weakness.
It's got to be more than lip service.
Actions speak louder than words, right?
Think about it. If the leadership team's always working late,
Never taking breaks.
pushing everyone to the limit.
What kind of message does that send?
Yeah, not a good one.
It sets a precedent, right?
Not a good one.
So it starts at the top.
Gotta have that foundation.
Once you've got that, then you can take stock of your existing resources.
Okay, so like an inventory.
Do you have an EAP, an employee assistance program?
Yeah, is it easy for employees to access?
Are there clear policies and procedures in place? for addressing mental health concerns.
So basically take inventory of what's already there
See where the gaps are.
and then start filling them in.
Exactly. Once you know where the gaps are, you can be strategic.
Okay, I like that.
Maybe it's implementing that mental health awareness training we talked about.
Yeah, or creating tier support groups.
Offering workshops on stress management techniques. So many options.
And those regular check-ins we discussed.
Those are a great place to start.
It's such a simple way to normalize the conversation.
Low cost, high impact.
It sends that message.
That we care about your well-being.
We're here for you.
It's like taking the pulse of the teen's mental state.
I like that, regularly checking in.
And it doesn't have to be complicated.
Keep it simple.
A few minutes during a team meeting, a one-on-one conversation, just genuinely ask.
Who are you doing, really?
Really listen to the answer.
Create that safe space.
And if someone is struggling,
Then what?
that's where having those resources in place is so crucial.
Okay.
Make sure employees know how to access the EAP.
Or other mental health services.
Remind them that seeking help is not a sign of weakness,
It's a sign of strength.
taking control of your well-being.
Being proactive.
I know some people might be thinking, but we just don't have the budget for this.
That's a real concern.
And I hear that a lot, and my response is always the same.
What's that?
Investing in mental health, it's not just the right thing to do.
It's the smart thing to do.
Makes good business sense.
The costs of untreated mental health issues.
They far outweigh the cost of being proactive.
So it's an investment that pays off in the long run.
Absolutely. And there are often low-cost or even no-cost options available.
Oh, like what?
Training managers to spot warning signs.
Okay.
Setting up peer support groups.
Things like that?
Those can make a huge difference without breaking the bank.
It's about getting creative, finding solutions that work for your organization.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do everything at once.
Small steps.
Start small, track your progress, and continually improve.
It's a journey.
Not a destination.
This whole conversation has been so insightful.
I'm glad to hear that.
I feel much more empowered to advocate for mental health in my own workplace.
That's fantastic.
It all starts with awareness.
And taking that first step.
Speaking of journeys,
Yes,
I think it's time we move on to the next phase of this conversation.
I'm excited about this one.
The idea of building resilience.
It's such an important piece of the puzzle.
We'll delve into how we can not only address mental health challenges.
But actually thrive in the face of adversity.
I can't wait. So we've talked a lot about proactive strategies and creating that supportive workplace.
Right, setting the stage.
But now I really want to dig into this idea of building resilience.
It's so crucial.
Especially in those high-pressure, high-risk environments we've been focusing on.
Couldn't agree more.
And Cheryl Blair, our expert, she talks a lot about this.
He does.
Why is building resilience so important, especially in fields like mining where people are constantly facing challenges?
Well, think about it. These jobs, they're inherently demanding.
Right.
There's physical risk, long hours, isolation, and the pressure to constantly perform.
It all takes a toll.
And resilience, it gives individuals those tools, not just to cope,
But to thrive.
to actually thrive in those environments.
So it's about bouncing back from setbacks, right?
Yeah, it's about being able to adapt
To roll with the punches.
to difficult situations, manage stress effectively, and even find opportunities for growth amidst those challenges.
To turn those lemons into lemonade.
And the good news is, it's a skill.
You can learn it.
You can learn it, you can strengthen it over time.
That's encouraging to hear. So how do we go about building resilience? Is it something you're just born with?
Definitely not. It's not like, you have it or you don't.
Okay, good.
It's more like a muscle.
You got to work it out.
The more you work it, the stronger it becomes.
I like that analogy.
And just like any training program, there are specific exercises
Okay, I'm intrigued.
that can help us develop greater resilience.
So what are some of those exercises or strategies that people can use?
One of the foundations is self-awareness.
Knowing yourself.
Understanding your own strengths, weaknesses, what triggers you, your coping mechanisms.
So really taking the time to reflect on who you are, how you tick.
Exactly. And once you have that awareness,
Okay.
you can start developing those healthy coping strategies.
So like having a toolkit?
A toolkit, I like that. And it can be anything. Exercise, mindfulness, connecting with loved ones, pursuing hobbies that bring you joy.
Things that fill your cup.
Things that fill your cup, exactly.
So it's personalized, right?
Yeah.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Absolutely. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to resilience.
So you got to experiment, find what works for you.
Exactly. Find what truly helps you recharge and feel more grounded.
Okay, so Self-awareness, healthy coping strategies, those are important building blocks.
For sure.
What else contributes to resilience?
Having a strong support system.
Your people.
Your people, your family, friends, colleagues, mentors, anyone you can turn to for encouragement, advice, or just a listening ear.
That sense of community.
Knowing you're not alone, it makes a world of difference when things get tough.
And it's not just about receiving support, right? It's about giving it too.
Oh, absolutely. Helping others, even in small ways, can boost your own resilience.
It's a two-way street.
So we've got self-awareness, healthy coping strategies, a strong support system. What else?
Anything else?
Problem-solving skills are huge.
Oh, that makes sense.
Resilient people, they don't get overwhelmed or give up easily.
They're solution-oriented.
They can break problems down into manageable steps, focus on what they can control, and come up with creative solutions.
It's that can-do attitude.
But it's important to be mindful of toxic positivity.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Resilience isn't about pretending everything's fine.
Or minimizing real struggles.
It's about acknowledging the difficulty.
But believing in your ability to get through it.
It's finding that balance between realism and optimism.
You know, things might be tough, but you've got the strength to handle it.
And you've got the resources to support you.
Exactly. And I think this is a big one.
This is key.
Resilience is deeply tied to having a sense of purpose.
Your why.
Knowing what drives you, what your values are, what you're working towards.
It gives you that extra strength to persevere.
It's that bigger picture.
That keeps you going when things get hard.
When you have that sense of purpose, those challenges, they become less about you personally.
And more about obstacles to overcome.
On the path to something meaningful.
Well said.
I feel like this whole conversation has been so eye-opening.
It really shifts your perspective.
And what it means to be resilient.
It's not about being superhuman.
Or never struggling.
It's about having the tools
And the mindset.
to navigate those challenges and come out stronger on the other side.
It's a reminder that we all have that capacity for resilience within us.
We do.
We just need to know how to nurture it, how to strengthen it.
It's about believing in ourselves, in our ability to handle whatever life throws our way.
And sometimes that means asking for help.
Tapping into those support systems.
This deep dive has given us so much to think about,
It really has.
both in terms of creating a more mentally healthy workplace.
And building our own resilience.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this question.
Okay.
What small step can you take today to prioritize your well-being?
To build your resilience.
Maybe it's practicing that breathing technique we talked about.
Reaching out to a friend.
Spending some time doing something you truly enjoy.
It's those small steps, done consistently, that make a big difference.
You deserve to thrive, not just survive.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into proactive mental health strategies.